Earth Day is coming up next week, and whether it's big companies doing something or maybe it's just you, there's a long list of steps that we can take to protect the planet and our future.
Natalie Bencivenga is here to share some projects going on in our community for this month's Be Inspired segment. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, how are you ladies?
So
good.
Good to see you both.
You know, it was a little disturbing to see the information coming about. This was a couple weeks ago.
You're
There's always
welcome.
something new. Yes, always. But
I really bring the sun when I come to hang out and talk.
You do. You end on a high note.
I try. I try.
But you know, we heard about like the microplastics and the things like in water bottles, and that's, we know that plastic is an overuse and it's everywhere. But we're really starting to hear more and more about how it's impacting us personally.
Yeah, and you know, I really wanted to do this segment because on my radio show on KDK every Saturday, I've been having a ton of environmental justice people on talking about it, and I realized, like, oh my gosh, we're at a crisis point, right? I'm not even calling it climate change anymore. It's climate boiling. So unless we take some real drastic steps to change what we're doing, I mean, 2023 was the hottest year ever on record since we've been keeping track since 1850.
Wow.
So I mean, obviously humans are impacting the planet in not so great ways, and microplastics, which are made from oil, I don't even think people sometimes connect the fact, those dots.
Even in some of our fabrics that we're using too.
Okay,
like
so
there's so much
thank
to
you.
it.
Like we're probably, there's
all
plastic
wearing
everywhere,
wearing
right?
it,
We're wearing it, we're consuming it. And what's happening is microplastics, they're only 5 millimeters or smaller. So I think there was this idea, well, it's so tiny, how could it cause problems? But now we're seeing it's disrupting our waterways, our airways. It's getting into our food supply through vegetation, through the soil, through animal products that we're eating. If it's in the water, the fish breathe in the water, and now you eat the fish, and there you go. So we've really got to disrupt this cycle if we want any chance to have a healthy planet that can impact our families in a positive way and our planet.
Well, and I don't know about you, Mikey, I find this all so overwhelming because I'm just a person, and I feel like the responsibility does not fall on you and me to necessarily fix this large
And I love that you brought that up because I think for the last 20 to 30 years, it was use reusable straws.
Recycle.
Which
is still good.
It's good, but we've found out that that's actually kind of been a ruse. And really what I'm focusing now on when I'm doing this work and interviewing people is what's happening at the policy level, the legislative level, what's happening, how are we holding corporations and governments accountable because they're the main polluters, right? And so it's frustrating that everything always comes back on the individual because well, we can only use what's being provided to us.
If there's so many options.
Thank you, right? And you're trying to do the one, you don't want to wear leather, so then you wear faux fur, and then you find out the faux fur is made from oil, and you're like, what's happening here?
If you're buying your orange juice, though, at the grocery store, it's sold in a plastic bottle.
Everything's
can't do anything about it.
And I'm thinking about, like, what are all of the health implications of this?
And that's
because
what
if you're
they're starting to
getting
figure
all of
that
this
out.
plastic in you and it's accumulating, I mean, that has to be making people sick.
We're finding it now in breast milk, in the placenta tissue. I mean, it's in the blood. This is not normal. It's not safe. And it's really going to start to exacerbate, I think, other health issues that people have.
So let's talk about some of the good work that's being done.
Let's get to this. There are things we can do, I promise.
So beyond plastics, let's talk about their mission.
I love this organization, Heather. I found them recently when I started focusing on what was going on in East Palestine, Ohio last year with the train derailment. And Jessica Conard, who is the head of Beyond Plastics here in the Pennsylvania division, she actually became radicalized after her community had that horrible train accident and everybody's been sick, the water's been polluted. So she took over Beyond Plastics here in Pennsylvania, and what I love about this organization is it works at that policy level, it works at the corporate level, it gets people activated and involved in their own backyards too, to say, hey, we're sending people to Washington to represent us. So is big oil and gas. We need to make sure that we're lobbying for the protection, and that we're doing those things. So please check out Beyond Plastics. It's a world without plastic. Can we think beyond it? And I know we can.
Yeah, and really quickly, there's some local ways to get involved. Some events happening at the Carnegie Libraries and at the museum as well.
If you like the Three Rivers Waterways, that's a great organization too. And what I love about Three Rivers Water Keepers. Thank you. I was thinking about waterways. What I love about them is they're very involved at the micro level here in the city, focused on, you know, can we fish in our rivers? Can we swim in them? Can we drink the water? And so cleaning up our local waterways is huge. They're having events at libraries, both in Carrick and in Mount Washington. And the Carnegie Museum of Art has an event too.
That's right. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much, Natalie.
So much to talk about. So
we
little
could
time.
For another hour. sure. All right, if you're interested in learning more about these organizations, we will have links on our website at kdka.com/talkpittsburgh. And tune in tomorrow. We're continuing our Earth Day coverage with a look at how to cut down on food waste in your kitchen.
And still